Quick explanation before we get started. You will see a gray square in some parts of this video, and it's covering a child who doesn't have enough clothes on. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla with Ode to Abode. Today I want to share with you guys a few of my favorites from Usborne Books and More. Let's get started. So if you're a homeschool family, you've probably heard of Usborne Books. It's an MLM that sells books all the way from babies to teens. They have fantastic books that are interactive, beautiful, and sometimes educational. I am an Usborne consultant. I don't really actively do like parties or advertise it too much, because I know that you can find great books just about anywhere, including your local library, for free. But I have found that Usborne Books does provide some really beautiful books that my kids come back to again and again. And so I wanted to share a few of our favorites here today. I don't have any of their baby books because by the time we came across Usborne Books, my kids were too old for them. But I do have books for a variety of age groups, starting with like preschool and then going to older elementary age or middle school. So let me show you what I have. One series that Usborne has that my family has really enjoyed is the Lift the Flap Questions and Answers. These books are so fun. They usually cover one general question, for instance, what makes it rain? And then within the book, they will have all of these beautiful pictures and interactive flaps that answer a variety of questions within that same topic. Why does lightning flash and thunder rumble? And then your children will find the answers within these flaps that are throughout the pages. The illustrations are really eye-catching, and my kids just love these books. Like, they could sit with a book like this for about 30 minutes. Even my 4-year-old who can't read yet will just sit and look at the pictures. And she usually ends up coming to me after looking at one of these books with more questions. So I think that's really powerful, that these books will answer questions but also encourage curiosity so that your child has more questions. It can really become that launching point into child-led learning that's motivated by pure curiosity, which to me is the best kind of learning. When your child learns like that naturally by following their own curiosity and their own questions, they're much more likely to retain the things that they learn. So we love this series. I have a couple of them. This one is all about poop, which is awesome and funny because little kids generally love talking about poop. It talks about all different kinds of animals' poop and where our poop goes. It's just really fun. Usborne Books also just has beautiful, well-done picture books. We have this hardcover copy of Sisters. It's beautifully illustrated, and it shows lots of different sets of sisters and also brothers and sisters and all the joys of having a sister. I really love this book because I have 2 girls and it's really sweet. This is just one example, but Usborne Books has so many gorgeous picture books just like this one. They do have one on brothers as well. Okay, so now for your early readers. Usborne Books has a fantastic series of phonics readers. These are just a couple, but I have over a dozen of these. They usually will focus on one sound per book with a few different sounds put in there. They rhyme, the stories are silly and funny and sometimes nonsensical, which my kids love. This one's called Underpants for Ants. It's hilarious. So yeah, the phonics readers are really great for early readers. Now, once your child has their phonics down and they're ready for something with a little bit more difficulty, they do have a series called Read with Usborne. These are both level 2. I believe they have level 1 readers, level 2 readers, and level 3 readers. I might be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But we have a few of these as well. My 7-year-old really enjoys them. They are easy enough for her to read mostly independently, but there's a few challenging words in there as well so she can keep growing her vocabulary on her own. And they usually cover a fun, silly story like this one about a dinosaur who lost his roar. Or they also have some nonfiction ones that cover a variety of topics. This one's all about owls. We also have one about frogs. So great homeschool resource for your early readers. These are great to pair with a specific unit study. Maybe you're doing a unit about owls or the forest. Something like this would be perfect for that. So what about building your reading stamina? I know I had a hard time finding books that were not quite as long as a big chapter book, but a little bit more time consuming than your regular old picture book. Usborne Books has those too. So this book is a great example. It's called The Missing Bookshop. It is definitely thicker and longer than your average picture book, but it still has lots of beautiful pictures. So this is great for building reading stamina. It's great if you're trying to get kids used to a read aloud in your homeschool. Something like this that builds their listening stamina but still has the entertaining aspect of the visuals is perfect. My 7-year-old has reread this book about 6 times, and she is a reluctant reader, so that should tell you something. This is just one example. Usborne Books has a few books that are similar to this in their style and layout, and we have a couple of them. We love them. Here's another example of a book that kind of will build stamina as a bridge from shorter picture books to longer chapter books. This is a beautiful picture book. And it's a fun, silly story about a museum that comes to life and a little boy that discovers it. And once the story gets into the museum, there's all sorts of interactive flaps in the museum that help you to learn a lot more. Look at these little books that open. It's so cute. So for instance, in this book, you can learn about Elizabeth Bessie Coleman, the first female pilot who was of African American and Native American descent. You can learn more facts about Triceratops, about extinct animals. All of these flaps don't really have much to do with the story that's happening. So it's really like two simultaneous things. You can read the story or you can look at the flaps. It's almost like a little museum tour in a book. Another thing that I love about Usborne Books is they do put a lot of value and importance on mental health, on regulating emotions. It's nice to have a book resource for something like that. So one book that we've really enjoyed is the Usborne All About Feelings book. It's got really beautiful illustrations and it really helps children to put a word to their feelings, and then also offers strategies on how to deal with those feelings without hurting someone else, and also how you can show empathy and help someone when you observe that they might be feeling bad or mad or what have you. So what about books that are super educational? Books for math or science or grammar. Usborne Books has those too. For older learners, they have the Lift the Flap series. We have 4 of these. One is the periodic table. This book is such a fun way to learn about the elements. It's beautifully illustrated and of course full of fun interactive flaps so that you can learn more information about the elements. And it's also got them color coded and categorized. This is another book that my kids can sit with for half an hour. My 4-year-old wants to lift all the flaps. She can't read and she won't have the periodic table memorized anytime soon, but I'm so happy we have this resource because it's starting to spark interest in what this is all about. Also have the Lift the Flap for telling time, which is really a great resource for teaching your kids how to read analog and digital clocks. This one I feel like might be out of print, so I'm sorry. I found this at a bookstore actually, and I was super excited to see it. It's the Lift the Flap measuring things, and it's the same kind of style, interactive, lots of cool pictures. It even has this little ruler that you can pop out so that you can start measuring things in your house. And one more of the Lift the Flap for older kids. We really have enjoyed this Math Shapes book. Again, lots of interactive flaps, bright eye-catching pictures, and my daughter has learned so much basic geometry from this book. I would consider these books to be like an extra. At least in our homeschool, I don't use these as like our core spine curriculum for math or for science, but it's a fun extra resource that's going to spark interest. And if your kid's having trouble with one of these concepts, this book might help them to retain facts or to at least be more interested in the topic. Okay, so what if you're a homeschool family who really values classic literature? Usborne Books has you covered with that too. We have several of their illustrated classics, and I love them. Right now in our homeschool, we are reading Little Women as one of our read-alouds. Look at this gorgeous gold embossing. What I love about the classics collection is they do have really beautiful illustrations to go along with the classic stories. So even if you're reading this book to young children, they can understand the simple basics of the story by looking at the pictures and talking about it with you. Two books that I'm hoping to do as read-alouds in the future are Heidi and the entire Anne of Green Gables series. Both of these are gorgeously done. Okay guys, I will link my Usborne shop below if you're interested in browsing. If you're looking for a book on a specific topic, let me know and I can help. I also want to put out there that I am not saying Usborne is the end-all be-all of homeschool resources or the end-all be-all of where you should buy your books. We have lots of fantastic books that we love that are from all sorts of places, not just Usborne Books. I also know that Usborne Books can be a bit pricey. They are very well-made, high-quality books, but if your homeschool budget does not allow you to spend that much on books, please don't feel pressured to do so. You can find great books at the library for free, and you don't have to buy books to be a successful homeschooling family. I do share lots of books on this channel, and that's something that I'm going to continue to do because our family loves books. And we do use the library, but I also love to actually invest in books so that we can hold on to them and have them on hand. That doesn't mean that you have to do that. So yeah, I just want to put that out there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like videos like this and you want to watch more videos about homemaking, homeschooling, and this crazy journey that we're on, all the highs and lows that come along with it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. I hope you give this video a big thumbs up and tell your friends about us, and I will see you guys in the next video.